Hi, good morning everyone. This is Vipul Gaur and I'll give you about 10 seconds to adjust your cameras for brightness and contrast because any brightness that you see is just bouncing off my head. So start with website security. So what is website security? All right, let's delve straight away into what are we going to talk about. So I have 11 points that we will be discussing in terms of keeping the web security intact. First one is web application firewall. Second is good hosting. Third is login page. Fourth one is SSL and TLS. Fifth is site lockdown. Sixth one is two-factor authentication. Seventh is strong passwords. Eighth is file and folder permissions. Ninth is database permissions. 10th is wpconfigphp file, and the last but not the least is htaccess. So coming to the web application firewall, what is a web application firewall? WAF, as it is called, WAF is basically the first layer of security between the hackers and the website security. So anybody who is trying to hack the website, the first thing that he or she checks is what kind of web application firewall a website has. So we are going to discuss how the hackers think. So a little bit about that. So there are 2-3 tools which actually can identify that whether a website has a web application firewall or not. Like one is WhatWAF, another one is IdentiWAF, and my personal favorite is WAF-Woof. So that's WAF, WAF-W00F. These tools are very good tools, but they actually give you the results within no time, within seconds. And that's how the hackers actually identify how a certain website has a web application firewall or not. We can run this on a VM machine. We can just run a couple of commands. You can install it. It hardly takes 2-3 minutes to install it and run the commands. So that's how we distinguish whether a site has a web application firewall. But when we are starting as a startup owner, that is the first thing that you would probably want to ask your hosting company, whether it is HostGator, GoDaddy, or if you are hosting on cloud, AWS or Azure, DigitalOcean, anything. That's the first thing that you would want to know. Next comes the hosting itself. So what is a good hosting company? A good hosting company is basically that has all these layers of security. So they have a SSL, TLS, they have web application firewall in place. If you want to have a VPN, they should have a virtual private network for you. So all these terms, we can talk in detail in probably one of my other videos, but this is something that forms the layers of security. Then comes the login page. So in a WordPress website, a login page by default is wp-admin. So your site name /wp-admin. You should never have the login page as wp-admin. So when you have set up or while you are setting the website, make sure you change the default name to something more secured or something more difficult, because hackers, they try to hack or they try to penetrate onto the wp-admin. Next comes the certificate. SSL or TLS needs to be enabled on website. So what is SSL? That's a secured socket layer, basically the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So if you see a site that starts with HTTP : and the name of the website, that is running on port 80, which is not secured. So what we can do to make the site secured, we can install a SSL certificate. So that SSL certificate makes the site secured through shifting it to port number 443, and then you will start seeing HTTPS in front of the website, and you will also see a small lock in the address bar. That's how you will get to know whether the site has a SSL or not. Some hosting companies provide this for free for 90 days. So every 90 days you need to renew this certificate, or you just need to reinstall that. But you can also purchase this. You can purchase a wildcard certificate. So suppose you are running multiple subdomains on the website. So those subdomains also by default will carry the HTTPS. So that's how we can make the site more secure. So this is like putting an additional layer of security. Then comes the part where there is a site lockdown feature. So what is a site lockdown feature? So there are different types of attacks that the hackers plan. One of them is a brute force attack. So what is a brute force attack? So there are different software which the hackers put into use for hacking. So there's a continuous attack on username and passwords. So they will try to throw different passwords and identify the different usernames. So there was a study recently where the most common passwords were 12345, 1234556, and the usernames were admin, or the password was just password. So admin password was one of the most common username and passwords that have been identified. Now, how we can make these more secure? So we should not have the regular passwords. We should have more elongated passwords, and you can just note it down on a piece of paper or some diary where you can store these passwords, or you can even get a free subscription of Password Vault where you can store all your passwords. So lockdown feature for the brutal force attack will definitely be defied by having this feature. Then comes the 2FA. What is 2FA? 2FA is the two-factor authentication. So somebody is trying to attack, you can have or putting wrong passwords repeatedly. You can actually have a 2FA authentication marked on your phone. So somebody who's trying to hack, you will get a notification on your phone. So you can either allow or deny it. So obviously, if you allow it, you are actually giving the access to the hacker. So that's how you can identify whether your site is under attack or not. Then comes the strong passwords. Strong passwords are very much required, and there has to be a strong password policy in place for the websites. Like you should change your passwords you can have a password policy for 30 days, 45 days, or 60 days, but you should never go beyond 60 days. Some institutions or organizations even go for a password policy for 180 days or so. Personally, I would not recommend that, and we should change our passwords once a month or once every 45 days. Next point is strong passwords. So strong passwords are basically the combination of capital letters, small letters, numbers, and special characters. And at least they should be about 20 characters long. You can even have long passwords, but because long passwords are hard to remember, so you can store those passwords either in a password vault, or you can maintain your personal diary where you can handwrite them and store in a good place. Never ever store your passwords online, either on a Google Drive or anywhere else, or OneDrive. So strong passwords make a very good case for you to give that extra layer of security to your website. Next point is file and folder permissions. So by default, folder permissions are set at 755 and they should be left at 755. But when we access the files, the file permissions should always be at 644. Once we have launched the website, the file permissions should be at 644. The file and folder permissions would make an extra layer of security and would make your site more secure. The next point in line is database permissions. So by default, the database of WordPress starts with WP_ prefix. So what we can do is, while we are setting up the database, we can change that. because hackers already know what kind of prefix they are going to attack, and that makes their life a little easier in identifying the databases. So we can definitely change the prefixes and make sure the name of the database is a bit elongated so that they find it hard to break. Next in line is wp-config.php file. Now this file is the configuration file which contains all the information about each and everything related to the website, be it the username, the passwords, or the default passwords of the master admin, and the rest of the information. A wp-config file should be hidden from Google. It should be hidden from the public access at all costs, because if we give the access of the configuration file to the hackers, or if they are able to access this file, they will have pretty much all the information required to hack the website. Last but not the least is the htaccess file. It's actually .htaccess. This is basically used by the Apache web servers. So Apache web servers configuration file. So this is a special configuration file that contains all the information about the website, like SSL configuration, the file permissions, the folder permissions, and it should not have access to the world. So if the htaccess file is editable, the hackers can access and take control of your website. So make sure your website is totally secured by using these small methods. On top of this, there are other malware scans also that you can run on website like stopbadware.org, which is supported by Google, and you can regularly run checks on this website. And if your website is blacklisted by Stop Badware, they can also help you in identifying what kind of virus or malware or worm attack that your website has suffered, and it can help you detect that attack, and then you can run these checks once the website is clean. So Google also prevents listing your website on its search engine if your website has been compromised. So please make sure you follow these simple steps before launching the website, and you would be in pretty good hands. Well, thank you very much for your time. And if you have any topics, just put in the comments that you want me to discuss in the further videos. My next video would be about security in organizations. Thank you. Have a nice day. Auf Wiedersehen. See you. Bye-bye.